Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. In my last video I did a movie room tour. Hope you guys checked that out. I'll leave a link down in the description for that. And in this video I'm going to go over my complete Blu-ray 4K Steelbook, just basically my whole complete movie collection. We'll start off with, I do believe, TV shows, and then we'll go to my box sets, and then I'll do boutique labels towards the end. I'll go with the regular Blu-rays A to Z first, and my TV shows. And without further ado, please stick around, and here we go. First up, we have my TV shows. And the first are going to be box sets, complete series. And the first one is Bates Motel, complete series. It's individual cases. There's 5 seasons. Great show. I highly recommend that show. Next up, one of my all-time favorite shows is Breaking Bad. This is the complete series. Opens up. It has all the seasons in these like cardboard sleeves. Great show. We have the Flintstones, the complete series. The Last Dance, about Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, and the Chicago Bulls. If you like documentaries and you're a sports fan, especially basketball, I highly recommend you guys picking this up. It's fantastic. So we have classic of Friends, the complete series on Blu-ray. Let it focus. One of my favorite sports series of all time is Friday Night Lights. Highly recommend this. 5 seasons. I also highly recommend you guys checking out All American on Netflix. A show I haven't dove into yet, and that's Hannibal. 3 seasons, and then it was cut off. We have Stranger Things Season 1 in this VHS style box, but it is 4K. Stranger Things Season 2. That 70s Show from Mill Creek. All the seasons. And we have a big box set of The Office, the complete series. All individual cases of each season. Also have Game of Thrones, the Blu-ray complete series. Highly enjoyed this show. Yes, season 8, the final season, could have been a lot better. But the other season made up for it. We have standard releases now, and this is Better Call Saul. Kind of with the lenticular where his hair moves, you can see there. It's kind of opens up like that. Season 2. If you like Breaking Bad, I highly recommend you check that out. Season 3. Season 4. Season 5. We have the first season of Fear the Walking Dead with this cool lenticular. We have The Haunting of Hill House. Orange is the New Black Season 1. Orange is the New Black Season 2. Orange is the New Black Season 3. Season 4. Season 5. And Season 6. I don't have Season 7 because it was only released on DVD. And I don't collect DVD anymore, just Blu-rays. And we have 4K of Planet Earth 2. If you want to show off your 4K television and player, I highly recommend you picking this up. It's awesome. We have another great TV show that I highly like, and that is The Walking Dead. We have the first season. The second season. Third season. The fourth season. The fifth season. Let me know down in the comments, guys, what your favorite season of The Walking Dead is. I've seen through season 8. I still need to watch season 9 and 10. This is the sixth season. We have the seventh season. The seal on the cover. The bat. The eighth season. The ninth. And the most recent, season 10. And we have a show that I just started getting into, finished season 1, and I'm a couple episodes in season 2, but I'm really enjoying it so far. And that is Yellowstone. That is season 1. Have season 2. And Yellowstone season 3. Now we are moving on to the numbers. And we have Heath Ledger and Julia Stiles in 10 Things I Hate About You. Great movie. Highly recommend it. We have a horror title, 12-Hour Shift. 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. Great Michael Bay film. '21. Pretty good little flick. I enjoyed that. 21 Bridges. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Great action movie. We have Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum in 21 and 22 Jump Street. We have 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. They're okay. Great vampire movie, and that is 30 Days of Night. Highly recommend you guys checking that out if you have not. We have Rob Zombie's 31. And this does have a slipcase, comes off. It looks like that. Not a very good movie. A classic 40-Year-Old Virgin. Steve Carell gives a great performance in this. We have 42, the Jackie Robinson story. Once again, Chadwick Boseman. And Harrison Ford plays a great biopic story of Jackie Robinson. We got 47 Meters Down. You have to have some shark movies in your collection. I got the sequel, 47 Meters Down Uncaged. We have Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. The first ever Blu-ray released was 50 First Dates. Back in, I believe this is 2006, was the first release of Blu-rays. Quote me if I'm wrong. Got 50-50. A great movie about a guy that has cancer. We have 500 Days of Summer. Decent flick. And rounding out for the numbers, we have 1917, the 4K Steelbook. Now I'll go into all my A titles. Just catalog titles. I'll do all my boutique labels later. The first one we have Accepted. Great movie. They make up their own college. Adventureland. Decent flick as well. We have the animated Aladdin on 4K Steelbook. You guys might hate me for this, but I didn't care for that movie too much. We have Alien, the 40th anniversary 4K Steelbook. Excellent movie. Then we got the Alien 6 film collection on Blu-ray. And this includes Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, Prometheus, and Alien Covenant. Then we have the 4K of Alita Battle Angel. This comes with the 4K and 3D and regular Blu-ray. Pretty good flick. Next up we got Kevin Spacey being a weirdo in American Beauty. American History X. A good movie about violence. And we have American Psycho. Fantastic movie. This is the 4K Steelbook with the slip. Comes up like that. You got the back. We have Will Ferrell and Anchorman. A great comedy. Gerald Butler and Morgan Freeman in Angel Has Fallen. It was okay. We have Anna. And we have Annabelle Creation. A decent movie to start off the Conjuring universe. We have Annabelle. And Annabelle Comes Home. We have Natalie Portman in Annihilation on 4K. Great sci-fi movie. Then I highly recommend this next one that a lot of people don't talk about. And it stars Denzel Washington, Derek Luke, and that is Antoine Fisher. A really, really good movie. I really highly enjoy this and recommend it. And we have the Apocalypse Now set. I unfortunately have not watched any of these yet. But I do plan on watching the final cut. Then we have a good space movie, Apollo 13. Has a great cast of Tom Hanks, Kevin Bacon, Bill Paxton, Gary Sinise, and Ed Harris. And we have Aquaman. It was okay, not my favorite. I'm not a huge DC fan, more of a Marvel fan. We have Ben Affleck and Bryan Cranston in Argo. Pretty good movie. We have a great alien movie with Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner and Forrest Whitaker, and that is Arrival on the 4K Steelbook. I really enjoyed this movie and highly recommend it. Then next up we have James Cameron's Avatar on Blu-ray. James Cameron needs to get more of those 4Ks out, and that rounds out the A's. Let me go get the B titles. Alright, let's get into the B's. First up is the trilogy of Back to the Future on 4K. Love all of these movies. This is the Steelbook set. We have the Bourne Ultimate Collection with all 5 Bourne movies. Have not got around to checking these out yet, but I highly want to. We have the 4K Steelbook of Baby Driver. Excellent, excellent movie and a great soundtrack. Highly recommend you guys checking that out. We have Bad Boys 1 and 2 4K Steelbook. These are good action buddy cop films. And then I really enjoyed this one, Bad Boys for Life. I honestly think I like this one the best out of all 3 of those. We have Billy Bob Thornton in Bad Santa. Funny Christmas movie. Then we have Bad Teacher with Cameron Diaz and Justin Timberlake. We have the original Batman. We have Batman Returns, and these are Michael Keaton as Batman. Batman Forever. Batman and Robin. Terrible movie. Then we have the Christopher Nolan trilogy. We have Batman Begins. Then we have The Dark Knight. Then The Dark Knight Rises, probably my favorite out of all 3 of those. We have Dwayne Johnson and Zac Efron in Baywatch. This is like a remake. I do highly enjoy this movie. We have Kevin James and Becky. Fun little kind of horror slasher. I would kind of call it comedy maybe. We had the 4K Steelbook of Beetlejuice. Don't want to say its name 3 times. We have the Belko Experiment. It's like a battle royale in an office. And we have Eddie Murphy and Beverly Hills Cop. Really enjoy this movie. We have a Disney movie, and that is Big Hero 6, the 4K Steelbook. I really like that one. Great flick. Then we have The Big Sick. Adam Sandler and Billy Madison. Gotta say, I do believe I like Happy Gilmore better, but that is a very good comedy with Adam Sandler. Then we have Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds on 4K Steelbook. Great movie. We have Black Swan. We have Blade Runner 2049. Great movie. And we have The Blind Side with Sandra Bullock. One of my favorite sports movies. Blinded by the Light. If you like Bruce Springsteen, I highly recommend you guys checking this movie out. We have Bohemian Rhapsody. Don't know if you can see that steelbook very well. That's the 4K steelbook. I really did enjoy that movie. A lot of people don't. I thought it was very good. Next up, we have Booksmart. Pretty funny comedy. We have Disney's Pixar Brave. 4K steelbook. We have Mel Gibson in Braveheart. This is the 4K steelbook. We have The Breakfast Club. I honestly don't care for this movie like everybody else does. I think it is a little overrated. This is Bridesmaids, an absolute great comedy. Highly recommend this if you guys haven't checked it out, but I'm sure most of you have. We have Brightburn, kind of a different take on the genre of kind of superhero and horror. Definitely a different movie. And rounding out the B's, we have A Bug's Life on 4K Steelbook. Now we'll get into the C's. First up, we'll start with my box sets, and that'll be, the first one is Columbia Classics 4K Volume 1. And this includes Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, Lawrence of Arabia, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, Gandhi, A League of Their Own, and Jerry Maguire. And then we also have the Columbia Classics 4K Volume 2, which includes Anatomy of a Murder, Oliver, Taxi Driver, Stripes, Sense and Sensibility, and Social Network. Highly recommend these sets, as Sony does a great job with their transfers. They can be a bit pricey, but I know the Volume 2 kind of went down in price. I do believe it's on Amazon for $99.99 at the time of recording this video. I'm not sure if it is anymore, but I highly recommend you guys checking those out. I know they don't make Volume 1 anymore, and it can get pretty pricey online, but Volume 2 is available. Next up, we have Cabin Fever. Great movie, great horror flick. Then we have another good one with a great twist, the 4K of Cabin in the Woods. The Campaign with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis. Funny comedy. We have Al Pacino in Carlito's Way. I really this was a first time watch this year, and I really enjoyed that movie. We have Cars from Disney. Great animated film. We have Renee Zellweger and Bradley Cooper in Case 39. A decent mystery kind of suspense thriller. And we have the 25th anniversary Blu-ray Steelbook of Casper, the only friendly ghost out there. And we have one that people don't talk about very much, and that's with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks, and that is Catch Me If You Can. It's probably my top 10 movies of all time. I really highly dig that one, and if you guys haven't checked it out, I really recommend it. We have Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman in The Change-Up, a funny comedy where they switch bodies. I found it very hilarious. We have Johnny Depp and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Decent movie. And a movie that's overplayed at Christmas, that is A Christmas Story. It is with this only at Target exclusive slipcover, and that's the regular artwork. We have National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, a classic. Love this movie. I watch this every Christmas. Child's Play the remake, and honestly for a remake this wasn't that bad. I highly enjoyed it. Then we have Chucky the Complete 7 movie collection with the kind of lenticular Chucky in there, good guy doll. We have Scorpion releasing, and this is City on Fire. Decent flick. And we have Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange. This was also a first time watch this year. What a weird movie, I'll tell you that right now. It's not for everybody. We have a classic in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. This is the 4K Steelbook. We have another good animated film, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. And we have Cloverfield. People probably going to rat on me for this, but I did not care for this movie. Not like a lot of people do. But now 10 Cloverfield Lane was a lot better. I really enjoyed this. Very good story. And we have a good based on real events, Coach Carter. Good basketball movie. Highly recommend checking it out if you're into basketball. Then we have Disney's Coco. We have Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx in Collateral. Highly enjoyed this movie as well. Good, decent little flick. We had Come Play. It's a modern day horror. It was okay. We have The Conjuring with the lenticular. I hope you can see there. Really good movie. Highly enjoy it. Then we have The Conjuring 2. And The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. We have Vince Vaughn in Couples Retreat. Pretty good comedy. We have Crawl, a different take on the horror genre. Basically about a hurricane that happens and an crocodile or alligator gets stuck in the basement of this place or the crawl space and goes after the people living there because they're stuck there too. Then we had the remake of The Crazies. I highly enjoyed this film and I really enjoyed the ending. I do like this better than the original Crazies. We have Michael B. Jordan, Sylvester Stallone, and Creed. Very good movie. Especially after the Rocky movies. That's a good movie. And we had the 4th installment of the Critters series, and that's Critters Attack. Or the 5th. I'm not sure. I can't remember. And then we have the Crystal Lake Memories. If you're a Friday the 13th fan or a horror fan in general, this is like a 7-hour documentary that goes really into depth about Friday the 13th and goes through every single movie that they made. It's very, very good and interesting. I've watched all of it. Then we got The Curse of La Llorona. Wasn't the best. Now we'll go into my D's. And first up we have Daddy's Home 2. Pretty good flick. The Dark and Wicked. This movie was pretty creepy. We have The Dark Tower 4K Steelbook. Matthew McConaughey. It was okay. We have Steve Carell and Tina Fey in Date Night. Been a very long time since I've seen this. Gotta check it out again. I do remember enjoying it though. Then we have Deadpool 4K Steelbook. And Deadpool 2 Steelbook. Has a slip cover. We have Deepwater Horizon with Mark Wahlberg. This was the very first 4K that I bought, along with Hitman's Bodyguard. Really good movie about an oil rig. Just picked this up the other day at Big Lots, still sealed. Den of Thieves with Gerald Butler. Looking forward to checking that out. Then we got a Martin Scorsese film, The Departed. Not much to be said about that hasn't been said already. We have The Descent. Very good horror flick. If you're scared of tight places or getting stuck anywhere, I highly do not recommend that movie. Very good atmospheric movie. And we have The Devil Wears Prada with Meryl Streep and Anne Hathaway. I really like this movie. Then we have Bruce Willis in the Christmas movie, Die Hard. We have Steve Carell and Paul Rudd in Dinner for Schmucks. It's an okay comedy. And we have the 4K Steelbook of Dirty Dancing with Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey. And this was one of the best Steelbooks of the year. Comes out like that. Robert De Niro and Zac Efron in Dirty Grandpa. Pretty good comedy. I was laughing pretty good at that. We have Shia LaBeouf, or LaBeouf, in Disturbia. The Divergent series includes Divergent, Insurgent, and Allegiant. Found all these movies to be decent. Doctor Sleep. I really enjoyed that movie. Still doesn't compare to The Shining, but what will? We have Don't Breathe. Very good horror movie. And then we have Don't Breathe 2 on 4K. I actually enjoyed Don't Breathe 2 more than the first one, which is surprising, but I did. Then we have Don't Tell a Soul. This movie was kind of slow, but it got going towards the middle and the end. It wasn't too bad. We have Matt Damon in Downsizing. Pretty good flick right here. We have the animated How the Grinch Stole Christmas. We have Owen Wilson in Drill Bit Taylor. I really enjoy this movie. It's a good comedy. We have Zach Galifianakis and Robert Downey Jr. in Due Date. Another good one. And the last of my D's is the Christopher Nolan film, and that is Dunkirk. This movie is shot awesome, and I love watching this, and I highly recommend watching it with the best sound system you have. We'll get into my E's, which is a very short stack. The first one up is the 35th anniversary limited edition of E.T. Let's see him go across the movie. And then it comes with the book. We have Emma Stone in Easy A. Highly enjoy this movie. The Edge of 17. The performances in here by Woody Harrelson and Haley Steinfeld are awesome. Highly recommend that movie. Then we have one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time, and that is Will Ferrell in Elf. Like, you can't go wrong with this movie. I absolutely love it. Then we have the Equalizer 4K Steelbook with Denzel Washington. And Equalizer 2. And we have Eurotrip. Very good comedy. I really enjoy that. Then we have the Evil Dead 4K. The original Sam Raimi one. And then we have Evil Dead 2 on 4K. And that will do it for my E's. Now we'll go into my F's. First one up stars John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. I also just picked this up, and that is Face Off. I have not seen that, but I am looking forward to watching it. Then we got Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew McConaughey, I believe, yes, in Failure to Launch. Good rom-com. Then we have Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them on 4K. We have Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald on 4K Steelbook. We have Fast and Furious, the first one, on 4K Steelbook. The Fault in Our Stars, a very good romantic movie. Very sad. We have Denzel Washington and Viola Davis in Fences. I highly enjoyed this one as well. We have Drew Barrymore in Fever Pitch with Jimmy Fallon. Great baseball movie and romantic comedy. We got The Fifth Element. Great sci-fi flick. And I can't talk about this one. We have The Fighter. Mark Wahlberg and Christian Bale in this are phenomenal. I highly recommend checking that movie out. Also, another good one is Fighting with My Family. We have the 4 film favorites of the first 4 Final Destinations. And we have Final Destination 5. I highly enjoy all 5 of these movies. I love the kills in those. And we have Finding Nemo on 4K Steelbook. Mine. And then we got Finding Dory. I really liked Finding Nemo. Finding Dory was good, but not as good as Finding Nemo. Then we have Sean Connery in Finding Forrester. And if you like Good Will Hunting, I recommend checking this out because it's from the director of that movie. We have the 5-Year Engagement. It's an alright comedy. And we have Matt Damon and Christian Bale in Ford v Ferrari. 4K Steelbook. Great movie and great Steelbook. We have a good comedy here that I highly enjoy, and that is Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Pretty funny. Then we have Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump. I highly enjoy that movie. I mean, that's a classic. Then we have Frailty with Bill Paxton and Matthew McConaughey. Great horror movie, I would say. Freaky. This is a take on the genre with Vince Vaughn and Catherine Newton, where they kind of change bodies. Then we have Ryan Reynolds in Free Guy. I highly enjoyed this film. Pretty much he's in a video game. We have Friday the 13th on the Blu-ray Steelbook. And Friday the 13th Part 2. And that Friday the 13th was the original. We have Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis in Friends with Benefits. Great rom-com. Highly recommend that. Then we have Frozen, 4K Steelbook. Frozen 2, 4K Steelbook. And rounding out my Fs is Full Metal Jacket from Stanley Kubrick with this great Steelbook. Now let's move on to my next letter. Okay, it looks like we're at the G's now. We'll do Game Night. This is highly underrated. It has Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams. Highly recommend you guys checking that out. We have Gattaca, the 4K Steelbook. Decent sci-fi flick. We have Will Smith and Gemini Man. Yeah, it's not the greatest movie, but I highly recommend you guys getting that on 4K because it's shot at 60 frames per second rather than your normal like 30 frames. We have Get Him to the Greek with Jonah Hill and Russell Brand. I really highly enjoy that movie. I've watched it plenty of times and I crack up every single time. We have Jordan Peele's Get Out. Very good. We have the 4K Steelbook of Ghost in the Shell. And this is the anime version. It's a Steelbook. I'll show you it off. You got the colorful disc. Not into anime, but because that Steelbook, I like that Steelbook, so I picked that up. We have another really good movie, and that is The Gift. We have The Girl Next Door, unrated. Highly enjoyed that one. Russell Crowe in The Gladiator, 4K Steelbook. Glory Road, fantastic Disney movie based on true events about basketball. We have 2014 Godzilla, 4K Steelbook. Godzilla vs. Kong. Great audio on this release. We have Drew Barrymore and Justin Long in Going the Distance. Decent comedy. Gone Girl. Kind of this digipack packaging. Pretty good movie. We have Good Boys. I didn't really care for this one. The Good Dinosaur. Enjoyed this Pixar flick. We have Dane Cook and Jessica Alba in Good Luck Chuck. Amazing comedy. I really highly enjoy that. Don't watch it with your family though. We have Good Will Hunting. Goodfellas, all-time classic. We have The Goonies. The Green Book, very good movie. It's crazy what he goes through in that movie, but I highly recommend you guys check it out. We have Gridiron Gang, great football movie. We have Grown Ups, absolutely hilarious, love this movie. And then one of my favorite movies of all time is The Guardian, about he trains to be in the Coast Guard. If you guys have not checked this out, I highly recommend you checking it out. Now we'll get on to the H's. We have Hacksaw Ridge on 4K. Fantastic war movie. I highly recommend everybody checking that out if you haven't. Then we have Owen Wilson and Jason Sudeikis in Hall Pass. Pretty good comedy. We have John Carpenter's Halloween. Steelbook. Absolute classic. Love that movie. Then we have the 2018 version of Halloween. I enjoyed this as well. I didn't think it was as bad as people thought it was. We have an all-time comedy classic in The Hangover, unrated. Funny movie. Part 2. Still really good. And Hangover Part 3. Also very good still. We have Happy Death Day. I really enjoyed this movie. Happy Death Day to You. Didn't enjoy this as much. It was kind of just a similar repeat of the first one and kept reliving from the first one. So it was kind of boring. We have a great sports movie, and that is Hardball. G-Baby, man. G-Baby. That's all I gotta say about that. Now we have the Harry Potter movies all on 4K. We have Harry Potter and Sorcerer's Stone. I enjoy all the Harry Potter movies, but this second one, Chamber of Secrets. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This is my favorite Harry Potter movie, which is the 4th one. Then we have Order of the Phoenix. The Half-Blood Prince. Deathly Hallows Part 1. And Deathly Hallows Part 2. We have Haunt. I really enjoyed this movie. Very good horror flick about this group of teenagers that come across a haunted house, but what they don't expect is a surprise. You'll have to watch the movie to find out, but I highly enjoy that movie and recommend it to everybody. Great for around Halloween. We have Disney classic Heavyweights. Funny comedy. Hellfest on 4K. Enjoyed this movie. We have Hell or High Water. Shout out to Mid-Level Media. He's doing a Western month in the month of January. Go over and check out his channel. We have The High Note. Decent flick. Then we had the remake of The Hills Have Eyes. I actually enjoyed this, just like The Crazies, better than the original Hills Have Eyes. And here, along with that other movie, The Hitman's Bodyguard. This was one of the first 4Ks I picked up as well as Deepwater Horizon. Then we got The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Not as good, but I Enjoy both those. Those are kind of just popcorn flicks. We have a classic that I grew up with, was Hocus Pocus on 4K Steelbook. Highly enjoy this movie. Always watch that in October. I enjoyed this movie as well. And this is The Holiday. And this includes Cameron Diaz, Kate Winslet, Jude Law, and Jack Black. Very good cast and very good movie. Reese Witherspoon in Home Again. Not Home Alone. Home Again. Decent movie. Now we have Home Alone. Absolute Christmas classic. I love this movie. I might have to say I like Home Alone 2 better though. Then we have a good basketball movie in Hoosiers. We have a comedy, Horrible Bosses. Great movie. We have unrated Hot Tub Time Machine. It was okay, not my favorite. And we have The Hunger Games. Enjoyed all of these movies. We have Catching Fire. Mockingjay Part 1. And Mockingjay Part 2. Very good movies. And rounding out the H's, I have The Hunter Killer with Gerald Butler and Gary Oldman. A great movie. I highly recommend that movie. Now we'll move on to The Eyes. We got Paul Rudd in I Love You Man. I absolutely love this movie. Slap the bass, man. Slap the bass. Great comedy. Then we had the remake of I Spit on Your Grave, unrated. A good revenge horror flick. You got I Spit on Your Grave 2. And then I Spit on Your Grave 3. Vengeance is Mine. All three of those I enjoyed. And we have a movie that had 3 Academy Award nominations, and that is If Beale Street Could Talk. Really enjoyed that. We have a great musical. I'm not into musicals very much, but that is In the Heights on 4K. Highly recommend you guys checking this out because I'm not into musicals, but I did enjoy that movie. Next up, we got a Christopher Nolan, and that is Inception. Pretty good. Then we got The Incredibles on 4K Steelbook. The Incredibles 2 on 4K Steelbook. I know that first one goes for a lot of money on the online. I'm glad I was able to get it when it first released. And we have a box set here. It's the 4K of Indiana Jones. And we have Inglourious Bastards. Quentin Tarantino flick. We have Inside Out, the 4K Steelbook. Really enjoyed that movie from Disney. And we have Instant Family with Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne. Enjoyed that as well. Very underrated. Next up, we got another Christopher Nolan movie, and that is Interstellar. Highly enjoyed this. Might be one of my favorite Nolan films. The Invisible Man with Elizabeth Moss. Pretty decent modern horror movie. Then we got It. It on 4K Steelbook. It Chapter 2 4K Steelbook. Then a great one in It Follows. Fantastic movie. And that's rumored to get a 4K this year, so I'm excited about that. And we have a Christmas classic, It's a Wonderful Life on 4K Steelbook. And that will do it for my eyes. Let me get the next letter. Now we have the J's. I have Jaws, the 4K Steelbook. Absolutely fantastic movie. Then you have the lenticular Jaws. Comes with the booklet. We have Jexy. Decent comedy about a guy and his cell phone. Got a classic in Arnold Schwarzenegger in Jingle All the Way. Great movie. I highly recommend that movie. We have Keanu Reeves in John Wick. John Wick 2. And John Wick 3, Parabellum. And then I also had the 4K Steelbook for chapters 1, 2, and 3. Really enjoy that Steelbook. We have Jojo Rabbit. Wasn't a huge fan of this. It's kind of a parody of Hitler and everything. I don't really care for it. Then we have Joaquin Phoenix and Robert De Niro in Joker. This is the 4K Steelbook. Absolutely wonderful movie. We have one that I picked up at Dollar General, is The Judge. Have not checked this out yet. And we have Jumanji on 4K Steelbook. Original with Robin Williams. Good movie. Then we have Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle 4K Steelbook. Highly enjoyed that. And then The Next Level. Jumanji The Next Level. 4K Steelbook. Highly enjoyed that as well. Then we got the 5 movie collection of Jurassic World. And this includes Jurassic Park, The Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World, and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And there's... Enjoy all those movies. The first one is a classic though. We have Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston in Just Go With It. We have Michael B. Jordan do a great performance in this movie. I highly recommend this. It's based on true story. Just Mercy. Then we have Justice League, the 4K Steelbook. And the far superior Justice League, rounding out my J's, is Zack Snyder's Justice League. Okay, now we'll go into the K's. First up, I haven't cracked into this, but I do enjoy these movies. And that is the Karate Kid trilogy on 4K. They all have individual slipcovers. We have Kick-Ass, the 4K Steelbook. Highly enjoy this movie. Very cool looking Steelbook. We have another Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and that's Kindergarten Cop. Good comedy. We have Pete Davidson in The King of Staten Island. Pretty good flick. We have Kingsman 2 movie collection, The Secret Service and The Golden Circle. This is the 4K Steelbook. We have Knives Out, a great mystery thriller whodunit type of movie. Then we have a 4K Steelbook of Leon the Professional. Fantastic. And now these are my L's. We have Like a Boss, starring Tiffany Haddish. Decent movie. We have a classic in Little Rascals. I got a dog, I got a dog, you have a dog. I love that movie. Then we have Logan. Great Wolverine movie. We have Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron in Long Shot. Decent comedy. We have a good vampire flip, a classic. That is The Lost Boys. Hoping that gets a 4K soon. Then we have a very underrated gem that a lot of people don't talk about, and that is Love and Monsters on 4K. I really highly enjoyed this and recommend you guys checking it out if you have it. Next up, we have Love, Simon. I have to give this a rewatch. Don't remember much about it. Then we have Disney's Luca, the 4K Steelbook. Great animated film. Now we'll move on to my M's. And starting with the M's, I'll go in my MCU universe. I just classify them all under Marvel, so that will be why they're in the M's. First up, we have Captain America, the First Avenger, and these are all 4K steelbooks. I have all of the ones to date so far. We have Captain Marvel, Iron Man, the first one, Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, Thor, the first Avengers movie, Iron Man 3, Thor the Dark World, the worst MCU movie. We have Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Don't push the button. Well, I'm going to push it. We have Avengers Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, probably my favorite MCU movie. Then we have Captain America Civil War, Black Widow, Spider-Man Homecoming, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, rest in peace Chadwick Boseman, Thor Ragnarok, found that movie to be pretty funny. We have Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man Far From Home, and the most recent one, Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings. I do have Eternals and Spider-Man No Way Home pre-ordered on 4K Steelbooks, so hopefully I'll be getting those in when they come out. Now on to the rest of my M titles. We have Major Payne, childhood classic for me. I highly recommend this. Very funny comedy. We have The Matrix 4K Steelbook, just the first one. We have Lindsay Lohan in Mean Girls. Really enjoy this movie as well. We have the Men in Black trilogy, 4K Steelbook. Good movies. We have Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible Fallout, 4K Steelbook. We have the 4K Steelbook of Moana. Good little Disney flick. We have Brad Pitt in Moneyball. Good baseball movie. We have Monsters, Inc. Probably one of my favorite Pixar movies that Disney put out. Then you have Monsters University, which isn't bad either. And we have a double pack of Mr. Deeds and Big Daddy, but Mr. Deeds comes first on this double pack, so that's why I put it in with the M's. And we have another classic with Robin Williams, one of my favorite performances by him, and that is Mrs. Doubtfire. Great movie. We have Mulan, the animated one, 4K Steelbook. Then we got Clint Eastwood in The Mule. We have My Bloody Valentine 3D. This is kind of a remake. This is very, very good. I highly recommend you checking this out if you like the original. And then we have a Wes Craven directed movie that I didn't care for on my first watch, but I'm going to have to watch it again, and that is My Soul to Take. And that'll do it for my M's. let me go get the next letter. The next letter in my collection is N's. First up, we have Napoleon Dynamite. Great comedy. We have Neighbors. Never Back Down, underrated film that I highly enjoy and recommend to everybody. We have New Year's Eve. Decent movie. We have Night School. We have The Nightmare Before Christmas. The original Nightmare on Elm Street. We need Scream Factory to do a box set like they did the Friday the 13th set. Then we got Nobody on 4K. I highly enjoyed that. Very good film. We have No Strings Attached. Decent comedy. And that'll do it for the N's. Now we'll go into my O's. We have M. Night Shyamalan film, Old. It was alright. One of his weaker films though. We have a Quentin Tarantino film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, on the 4K Steelbook. Excited for Tarantino's other 4Ks to come out this year, hopefully. Then we have Onward. Good heartfelt movie from Disney. We have Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg and the other guys. Good buddy cop comedy. And we have a kind of a Nazi zombies in Overlord. Decent. Okay, and now we'll go with my P's. And first P title we have is Pacific Rim on 4K. Looks absolutely amazing on 4K. We have Pacific Rim Uprising. Decent sequel. We have Paper Towns. Good movie. Then we have the 6-movie collection of Paranormal Activities. I've only seen the first one. I have to get around to watching the other ones. And we have Parasite. One of the best foreign films to come out in the past couple years. We have Parental Guidance. We have Mark Wahlberg in Patriots Day. Very good movie about the Boston bombing of the marathon. Highly enjoyed that movie. We have Paul. Pretty good comedy. This one I highly recommend checking out. This is the Peanut Butter Falcon. Absolutely great performance by Shia LaBeouf. One of my favorites. Then we got Perks of Being a Wallflower. Pet Sematary, the original. Then we have Pet Sematary, the remake. We have Nicolas Cage in Pig. Very good performance by him. And I know everybody's been talking about the transfer on this. I haven't got around to seeing it, but I do enjoy it, and I didn't have it in my collection, so that's why I picked up Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl on 4K. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Absolutely classic Thanksgiving film. Then we have this Planet of the Apes trilogy. And it has Rise, Dawn, and War of the Planet of the Apes. All 3 of these movies are great. Highly enjoy those. We got John Cena in Playing with Fire. The Polar Express. Good animated Christmas movie. We have Poltergeist. The Postcard Killings. Disney's The Princess and the Frog, 4K Steelbook. Princess Mononoke. Prisoners. Very good movie. I got this at a local Dollar General. It's a very good pickup for $5. Then we have Promising Young Woman. Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Absolute classic. Then we have The Purge, the 3-movie collection. Includes The Purge Anarchy, and Purge Election Year. And now round out my P's. And now I'll do my 2 Qs, which I'm sure you guys can guess what it is, but the first one's the 4K Steelbook of A Quiet Place. Sorry for the glare. Then you have A Quiet Place Part 2, 4K Steelbook. I enjoyed the second one better than the first one, actually. Now we'll get into my R's, and that first one is Ratatouille. Great animated flick from Disney about a chef rat. Then we have Raya and the Last Dragon. We have Ready Player One, 4K Steelbook. This movie gets a lot of hate, but I really enjoyed that movie as well. Then we got another Alfred Hitchcock's movie, and that is Rear Window, 4K Steelbook. We have a classic and Remember the Titans, probably one of my favorite sports movies. Everybody should watch that in today's world. Then we have Requiem for a Dream, and they just announced a 4K Steelbook for this. But I will not be picking it up as I have that copy, and that'll be just fine for me. We have Richard Jewell, a great movie about the Atlanta bombings. Highly recommend that movie. Then we got a Rob Zombie trilogy, the Steelbook from Target. And it includes The House of Thousand Corpses, The Devil's Rejects, and 3 from Hell. That is only Blu-ray. We have Role Models, a good comedy. And then a good horror, modern day horror flick, and that is The Ruins. Highly underrated. I feel like people don't talk about this, but I do enjoy that. Next letter we're going to go over is S, and I realize that this is the one that I have the most movies with. So first up, we have The Sandlot. Absolutely great movie. Watch that every summer. We have Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan, the 4K Steelbook. Classic war movie. Then we have Saw, the 4K Steelbook. I do enjoy that one. Then we have Saw, the 8-film collection. And we have Al Pacino in Scarface. Great gangster movie. We have Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, the 4K Steelbook. We have Scott Pilgrim vs. the World on 4K. We have Scream, the 3 movie collection. This includes Scream 1, Scream 2, and Scream 3. One of my favorite horror franchises. And then, of course, we have Scream 4. I'm excited for the 5th one coming out this year. We have Secret Life of Bees. We have Seven, starring Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. Great horror, mystery thriller movie. We have Shaft, starring Samuel L. Jackson, the 4K. We have The Shallows on 4K. I missed out on the slipcover, unfortunately, but I do enjoy that movie. We have another classic, the #1 rated movie on IMDb's, and that is Shawshank Redemption with Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. Shazam, great DC movie. And good comedy, She's Out of My League. Another one I highly enjoyed, She's the Man. All-time favorite horror movie, The Shining, 4K Steelbook. We have Sing. Sing 2 will be released later this year. Excited to pick that up as well. And we have Shrek, 4K Steelbook. This is the 20th anniversary edition. Next titles, we got a double pack of Shooter and Four Brothers, but Shooter's first, so that's why it's in the S's. We have Skyscraper with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Snatch, a Guy Ritchie film. Decent movie. Something Borrowed, absolutely fantastic rom-com. We have Soul from Disney, 4K Steelbook. Then we have Space Jam. Highly enjoy that. It doesn't hold up as much as it did when I was younger, but it's still a good movie. Then we have Speed. Absolutely fantastic action movie. Still holds up to this day. That is the 4K Steelbook. Then we have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, 4K. Great animated Spider-Man flick. Then we have this Spider-Man Legacy Collection. It includes 2 different Steelbooks. And in here is Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. And then the Amazing Spider-Man and the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Then we have Spies in Disguise, the 4K Steelbook. Spiral from the Book of Saw. Really enjoyed this as well. I enjoy the ones in between, but I enjoyed the first Saw and Spiral. Then we have Spirited Away. Good anime flick. Not into anime very much. And A Star is Born 4K Steelbook. Bradley Cooper does a great job in that movie. Next up we have the Star Wars franchise. The first one is Phantom Menace 4K. Then we have Attack of the Clones. Revenge of the Sith. Solo. Rogue One. A New Hope. The Empire Strikes Back, my favorite Star Wars movie. And a close second is Return of the Jedi. We have The Force Awakens. This one's very good as well. Then we have Last Jedi. And the final one, Rise of Skywalker. We have Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly in Step Brothers. Absolutely hilarious comedy. Really enjoy this movie. We have Stuber. Not too bad. And we have Suicide Squad. James Gunn. Very good flick. I just gave that a watch the other day. I really enjoyed it. Then we have Superbad with McLovin. Oh, that's a wonderful film. Highly recommend checking out. Then we have The Swing of Things. And next up, we'll go into my titles starting with T. First up, we have Liam Neeson in Taken. Then we have a horror film here, The Taking of Deborah Logan. Very creepy movie. We have Disney's Tangled on 4K Steelbook. We have Ted. Highly enjoyed this. We have Ted 2. Enjoyed this as well. And we have Tenet on 4K. Another Christopher Nolan film. This movie is confusing. It takes like 4 watches to even understand what's going on. At least for me it did. Then we got T2, the 4K Steelbook. Absolutely wonderful. Probably the best Steelbook released and best Steelbook in my collection. We have the 2003 remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. Have not checked this out, but I've heard great things about that and can't wait to dive into that. We have Total Recall. Good 90s flick. Believe it's 90s. Yep, 1990. Then we have Ben Affleck in The Town. Great heist movie. 4K Steelbook. And next up we have the Toy Stories. Toy Story 1. Really enjoy this film. Toy Story 2 is a very good sequel. I like Toy Story 3 as well. And Toy Story 4, and don't ask me why they did not match the Steelbooks. It's a pet peeve of mine as well. But I enjoy all the Toy Story movies. Then I've got Trick. We have Clint Eastwood in Trouble with the Curve. Great little baseball film here. We have a horror comedy in Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Highly recommend this. I thought that was a very good one. Then we have Hugh Grant and Sandra Bullock in 2 Weeks' Notice. Decent flick. And then that does it for the teas. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, my next letter is U. And that is, first one is The Ugly Truth. Very good. We have an M. Night Shyamalan film, Unbreakable. Unstoppable, about a runaway train. I found this to be very entertaining. Then we have classic Up, 4K Steelbook. Really enjoy that movie. We have George Clooney in Up in the Air. Good movie. We have The Upside. This is a really good one. And we have Us, 4K Steelbook. And I have, up next is the V titles, and I have two. We have Venom, the first one, on 4K Steelbook. And then we have Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. And moving on to the W's, we have WALL-E, 4K Steelbook. Excellent movie. We have The War with Grandpa. Decent little comedy. Then we have The Way, Way Back. Absolutely phenomenal movie about this kid that gets a job at a water park over the summer. Very good movie. And we got We're the Millers, another good comedy. Highly enjoy that one. We have Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons, and the performances in this are amazing. And that is Whiplash, the 4K Steelbook. We have Who Framed Roger Rabbit, 4K. Classic. And we have Nerd Classic. And we have Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, 4K. The Wizard of Oz, 4K Steelbook. Follow the Yellow Brick Road. We have Leonardo DiCaprio in The Wolf of Wall Street. Fantastic Martin Scorsese picture. We have Wonder. Also a very, very good family movie. Enjoy that a lot. Then we have Wonder Woman. A lot better than 1984. Then we have Words on Bathroom Walls. Brad Pitt in World War Z. This is the 3D Blu-ray. We have Jason Statham in Wrath of Man. Very good action movie. One of his better performances in a while. Then we have the Wrong Turn 1 through 5 collection. We have Wrong Turn 6, Last Resort. Enjoy all these movies. And I even enjoyed this remake / reboot of Wrong Turn. And we'll go into my Y titles. We have You're Next. Oh, this is absolutely phenomenal. Best horror film, I think. Very good. I love the ending of it, too. And then we have Youth in Revolt. Decent flick. And then finally, my Z's for all my Blu-rays, 4Ks, and Steelbooks. And first one is Zack and Miri Make a Porno. Funny movie. Then we have Zodiac. Amazing movie. We have Zombieland. I still need to get Zombieland double tap. Then we have Zoolander. Blu-ray Steelbook. And then finally, but not last, is Zootopia. 4K Steelbook. And now we'll get into my boutique labels. And the next ones up are the Criterions. Let's go. We will now get into my Criterions. And the first one I have up is 12 Angry Men. Sidney Lumet. Absolutely classic, and everybody needs to check that movie out. It's essential to the Criterion Collection. Next up, we got the 400 Blows. A very good film as well. Then we have All About Eve with the worst packaging possible. We have Anatomy of a Murder. Andrei Rublev. Still have to check this one out. We have a Terrence Malick film, Badlands. Highly recommended. We have a Stanley Kubrick film, and that's Barry Lyndon. Decent modern piece. We have a Richard Linklater box set, and that is the Before trilogy. Absolutely fantastic. Doesn't use much dialogue, or it's mostly dialogue. Not much happens in these movies, but this includes Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and Before Midnight. We have Belle de Jour. If I pronounce any of these wrong, I'm very sorry. Bicycle Thieves. One of my ultimate favorite ones in the collection. Absolutely enjoy this movie very, very much. We have the classic, The Blob, the original. We have a Coen Brothers film, Blood Simple. Blowout. Very, very good movie. Highly recommend that as well. We got David Lynch, and that is Blue Velvet. My first Wes Anderson, and that is Bottle Rocket. We have Boyhood. This movie's filmed over 12 years or so, or a lot of years. I'm not sure how many years, but it is very good to follow it, and I highly recommend checking that one out. Next up, we got a war movie, that is The Bridge. A Brighter Summer Day. Very long movie, but I highly recommend it. Very, very awesome movie. Then we got Cronenberg, The Brood. Carnival of Souls. Great atmospheric movie. We have Chop Shop. Claudine. I really enjoyed this one. Come and See, a very powerful war film. Crash, just gave this watch the other day. Man, it's weird. I don't recommend that to many people. We got Dazed and Confused, with the great packaging. Classic. And we got a Jim Jarmusch film, and that is Dead Man. Diabolique. Very good film. Spike Lee, Do the Right Thing. This awesome edition. I did not pick up the 4K. I enjoy that edition enough. I don't need the 4K. Don't Look Now. Another Jim Jarmusch film, Down by Law. And Brian De Palma film, Dressed to Kill. Very good. Let me get these moved up. We have another David Lynch, and that is The Elephant Man. Still have not got around to check this out. Eyes Without a Face. A decent little horror movie. We have A Face in the Crowd. Very good movie. Failsafe, from the same guy that did 12 Angry Men, Sidney Lumet. It's a good one as well. We got another Wes Anderson, that is Fantastic Mr. Fox. It was okay, not as highly regarded as some people make it. One of my favorites, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I believe this is better than Dazed and Confused. Don't come at me. I really enjoy that movie. We have Francis Ha. Ghost Dog with Forrest Whitaker. Great movie. Ghost World. Really enjoyed this movie. Kind of a coming of age story. We have Gilda with Rita Hayworth. Good Morning. Highly enjoyed this movie. It's pretty funny too. We have a classic in The Graduate. My very first Criterion was this movie. We have another Wes Anderson in a cool packaging, The Grand Budapest Hotel. My first Charlie Chaplin movie, and that is The Great Dictator. I don't care for Charlie Chaplin, but I had to keep this in the collection. And we have The Great Escape. I know this is getting a 4K this year. I'm not going to pick that up as I have this Criterion. I don't see myself rewatching that film very much. Next up we have Lahain. Harikiri. Pretty good Japanese flick. We have Harold and Maude. Weird film. We have Akira Kurosawa, and that is High and Low. Absolutely magnificent film. I think he's one of my best foreign directors. I love his movies. Then we have a great documentary, Hoop Dreams. Highly enjoyed that. Then we got a weird, messed up movie, and that's House, or Hazu. Have I, Daniel Blake. Another by Kurosawa, Akira. Very good movie as well. We have Humphrey Bogart in A Lonely Place. Rest in peace, Sidney Poitier. Just recently passed away in The Heat of the Night. Great film. We have Wong Kar-wai's In the Mood for Love. Fabulous film as well. Inside Llewyn Davis. Really enjoyed this. Took me a while to get this. It was always sold out at my Barnes & Noble. And we have It Happened One Night. Andrei Tarkovsky film, Ivan's Childhood. We have Investigation of a Citizen Above Suspicion. Martin Scorsese film, The Irishman. Honestly, I have not watched this yet. I can't put aside 4 hours to watch a movie, so that's why I've not got around to it. Next up, we have Jules and Jim. We have a Stanley Kubrick great masterpiece, The Killing. Absolutely love this heist film. Very good. Then we have Clute. And let me get the rest of my Criterion. Continuing on with the Criterions, we have the Coker trilogy. Have not watched this yet. We have Late Spring. Very good movie. Highly recommend that. Then we got 6 films in this Lone Wolf and Cub set. Have not got around to watch that either. Then we have one of my favorite all-time movies, and that is Love and Basketball. Haven't watched the Criterion, but I absolutely enjoy that movie. It's a great movie. Then we have M. Classic. Then we have a Bong Joon-ho film, the same one that did Parasite, and that is Memories of Murder. Have not got around to watch that. One of the best crime/hood movies. That is Menace to Society. Really enjoyed this one. We have a documentary on skateboarding, but it's much more than that. Minding the Gap. Highly recommend this. I'm not much into skateboarding, but I really enjoyed that. Then we got another Tarkovsky film, and that is Mir. Have not got around to watch this yet. Then we have Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters by Paul Schrader. Sorry for the glare there. Have not watched that as well. I have to get watching more of these Criterions. We have Wes Anderson, Moonrise Kingdom. David Lynch's Mulholland Drive. I know it's 4K, but I'm content with the Blu-ray. Weird movie. We have Mystery Train. Have not got around to watching this yet. And then we have Nashville. Next up, we got the classic and George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead. Absolutely fantastic transfer on this movie. Then we have Night on Earth. Haven't seen it. A Night to Remember. Kind of a different take on the Titanic. More real. Then we got Nocturius, Alfred Hitchcock. Phenomenal movie. We have Marlon Brando in On the Waterfront. Honestly, I didn't care for this that much. Kind of think it's a little overrated. And we have Paris, Texas. Decent flick. Then we have a Stanley Kubrick film, Paths of Glory. Very good war movie. Then we have an Ingmar Bergman film, Persona. Pretty good. Adam Sandler in Punch Drunk Love. Directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. Pretty good performance by Adam Sandler. Uncut Gems, his performance is better, but I do highly enjoy that movie. We have Rashomon, another movie from Akira Kurosawa. This was probably his weakest in my opinion. I didn't really care for that one as well as the other ones. Then we have the out-of-print Rosemary's Baby. Another Wes Anderson, Rushmore. And we have Solo. Do not recommend this film to people. What a crazy film. We have Lay Samurai. Have not seen it yet. Sancho the Bailiff. Very underrated one. I don't hear many people talking about this. Highly recommend it. We have Cronenberg film, Scanners. I enjoyed this movie for what it was. We have a Akira Kurosawa masterpiece, and that is Seven Samurai. Yes, it is over 3 hours long, but I highly recommend you guys checking this out if you have not. Absolutely phenomenal film, and it does not seem like a 3-hour movie. And we have the classic Silence of the Lambs. If it will... Then we have Sisters, Brian De Palma film. Slacker. Smooth Talk. Enjoyed this one. Another Tarkovsky film, Solaris. Have not gotten around to watch this as well. I think you have to be in the right mood for that. We have a great comedy and Some Like It Hot. And Kino Lorber's putting out a 4K, but I'm content with this copy, although I do enjoy that movie. We have another Tarkovsky film, Stalker. Haven't got around to watch that either. And we have Stranger Than Paradise. Sweet Smell of Success with Burt Lancaster and Tony Curtis. Then we have the Three Colors trilogy. I really enjoyed this. All three of these movies are very good. I enjoyed all three of those. Then my last stack of Criterions, we have Tokyo Story. If you haven't checked out Yasujiro Ozu as a director, I highly recommend you guys do it. He has about 3-4 films out on the Criterion Collection, and I enjoy all of them. We have a classic in Tootsie, starring Dustin Hoffman. Same one as in The Graduate. Then we got a Terrence Malick film, The Tree of Life. Haven't seen it yet. Then we have Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me. Decent flick. Then we have a really, really good one that I really enjoyed, and that is Umberto D. Very sad, but a very good film. Well written. We have The Vanishing. David Cronenberg's Videodrome. It's cool. It looks like a VHS. When you pull it out, looks like a cassette tape. I enjoyed this one. And this one I really enjoyed, probably one of my favorites. This is The Wages of Fear. Highly underrated. I really recommend you guys checking out. Full of suspense and you don't know what's going to happen. So we got another Ingmar Bergman film that I liked a lot, and that is Wild Strawberries. We have Woman in the Dunes. This was a good flick, but I thought it was overrated. I was expecting much more. We have an awesome film, very long film, but a very good film. That is Yi Yi. Phenomenal. And then we have the 2-pack of Yojimbo and Sanjiro. 2 movies by Akira Kurosawa. Yojimbo's a lot better than Sanjiro, but I still highly recommend you guys checking them both out if you're a fan of Kurosawa. And then with that, we'll move into my next series. Now we'll go into my A24s. The first movie is 8th Grade. Pretty underrated flick. Really enjoyed that. Then we have a great sci-fi movie, Ex Machina. The Farewell. The Green Knight on 4K. Thought it was okay. Wasn't great, but it was okay. We got a great horror movie, The Hereditary on 4K. Midsummer, a weird movie. Minari, a great movie. Moonlight, beautifully shot. And it won Best Picture. We got Saint Maud, a great modern day horror flick. I really enjoyed that. And we got Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems. Waves. The Witch on 4K. And then Zola. That's my A24 collection. Now we'll go into my Arrow. First, the box sets. First one, we have Blu-ray of An American Werewolf in London. Great box set, great movie. I will not be picking up the 4K as I like that one. Then we got a Dario Argento film, The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. That's 4K. Then we got the 4K of Cav Nine Tails by Dario Argento. We have the 4K of Django. One of the best looking 4Ks to be put out in the most recent. We have Donnie Darko on 4K. It's a crazy big box set with the big book. Enjoy that film as well. And we got the original Wes Craven's The Hills Have Eyes. I do prefer the remake, but this is a solid flick as well. Then we have Wes Craven's The Last House on the Left. And last for the box sets from Arrow, we have Tremors. Amazing movie. I'm sure everybody's seen this movie. Highly recommended. Now we'll go into my slipcover versions. We have the 4K for Children of the Corn. We have Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the FYE exclusive. John Hughes' 16 Candles. Weird Science. Great movie. I like that movie. Now we'll get into my MVD Rewind collection. First one is Spy Number 2, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. We have Abominable, Spine Number 7. Great movie about Bigfoot. And one I have not broke open yet is Double Dragon, number 14. Need to pick up more MVD Rewind, but I'm working on my Vinegar Syndrome collection right now. Now we'll get into Kino Lorber, and the first one is And Soon the Darkness. Brick. Burnt Offerings. Good little haunted house thriller. We have Candy. Still have not watched. We have classic Career Opportunities. Fuzz. Kind of a spin-off on a cop movie. Decent. We have Burt Reynolds in Gator. Have not seen this yet. Gold with Roger Moore and Suzanne Moore. Have not checked it out. We have The Good Son. Very good movie with Nicole McCulkin. Guy who played kid in Home Alone. Then we have the 4K of The Good, The Bad, and the Ugly. Very nice release from Kino. Then we got I, The Journey. The Indian Runner. Invasion of the Body Snatchers 4K. Have not checked this out yet. Losing It. Decent comedy. Starring Tom Cruise. We had the original Mad Max. Pretty good flick. I wasn't a big fan of the Mad Max movies though. We got Gene Hackman and William Dafoe in Mississippi Burning. I swear I've seen that, but I have to revisit it. Then we got Mumford. Pretty good movie. We have My Boyfriend's Back. I really enjoyed this. Highly recommend it. My Father the Hero. We have John Saxon and Michael Parks in Nightmare Beach. Really enjoyed this movie. Good little slasher horror. Then with Michael Keaton in One Good Cop. We have Peter Sellers in The Optimist. And we have The Pit. Running Scared. Have not seen this yet. We got Taking Care of Business. I really highly enjoyed this with James Belushi. Really liked that movie. Thought it was really good. And then we have The Wanderers, rounding out my Kino Lorber. And let's go into Scream Factory. Okay, first up in my Scream Factory is Charles Bronson in 10 to Midnight. We have Alone in the Dark, more recent pickup. Sorry for the glare, these are in protective cases. We have April Fool's Day, pretty good movie with the twist. We have Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. We have John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China. Black Christmas, really good slasher Christmas movie. We have the remake of The Blob. John Carpenter's Body Bags, really good anthology. We have Brotherhood of the Wolf. The Burning, my favorite slasher from the 80s. I believe this was the 80s. Yep, 1981. Then we have the original Candyman. The original Carrie. Good movie. And we have Child's Play. Really enjoy that movie, even though it's cheesy. Then a very underrated gem that I find that most people don't talk about, and that's The Class of 1984. Absolutely love this film. It's caught me by surprise by a long shot. And we have The Craft, a 90s good movie. George A. Romero and Stephen King in Creepshow with this great packaging. We have Dawn of the Dead. We have Day of the Dead. Love the slip on that. We have Stephen King's Dead Zone. Wes Craven's Deadly Blessing. Deadly Friend. Another Wes Craven. We have Dog Soldiers. The transfer on this looks like crap. It wasn't, I didn't care for that movie. Then we got a Sam Raimi movie, and that is Drag Me to Hell. I really enjoyed this movie. We have Elvira and Elvira's Haunted Hills with this slip box. Comes out. We have The Entity. Good ghost film. Escape from New York. Wonderful. One that shocked me again was Event Horizon. Really enjoyed this film. We have Firestarter. We have John Carpenter's The Fog. The Funhouse. Fun little flick here. We have Ghost Ship. Ginger Snaps, a good werewolf movie. Then we have, next up, we have the Halloween movies on 4K. First up, we have Halloween, the first one, 1978. Halloween 2. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Halloween 4. The Return of Michael Myers. Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. And then we got the 10 disc complete collection. Missed out on the 15 discs, but this will do. We have Hell Night. House of Wax remake. I really enjoy this movie. The Howling. Good werewolf movie. That's getting a 4K this year. Then we have Idle Hands. Really fun. In the Mouth of Madness. King Kong. The original. We have Krampus the Naughty Guy. Tell me if you guys like the naughty cut better or the theatrical cut. Then we got Land of the Dead. Life Force. Misery. Great performances in this movie. Absolutely love that movie. Then we got Motel Hell. Fun movie. Cheesy but fun. We got the original My Bloody Valentine. Really enjoyed this. I also enjoy the remake. And then we got Night of the Comet. Night of the Demons. Great movie. We have Wes Craven, The People Under the Stairs. Highly underrated. I really enjoyed that one. We got Pet Sematary 2. I love that slipcover. We got Phantom of the Paradise. Didn't really care for that movie. We have the 4K of Prince of Darkness. We have Prison. Psycho 3 with Anthony Perkins. Still need to get Psycho 2. So I got Pumpkinhead. Return of the Living Dead. Great horror movie. Then we got Return of the Living Dead Part 2. We have Road Games. Silent Night, Deadly Night, which I enjoyed. And this one was hot garbage. Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. All it is a repeat of the first one. I don't know how people can like that. I absolutely hate that movie, but I have to complete it because I have to have both parts. And we have Silver Bullet. We have Sleepaway Camp. The ending of this movie just gets everybody every time. Crazy. Sleepaway Camp 2. And Sleepaway Camp 3. We have Sleepwalkers. I highly enjoyed this movie. I have Slither. Starman. It's pretty boring. Didn't care for it. And we have The Strangers, a great home invasion movie. Movie creeped me out. Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. We have Teen Wolf. It was okay, not the greatest. Then we have the 4K of They Live. I really enjoy this film from John Carpenter. We have The Thing, absolute classic. Highly recommend that. That's one of my top watches every year. Then we have 13 Ghosts. If you watch my movie room tour, I have a poster of that. We have Trick or Treat. Absolutely great anthology. Urban Legend. And then rounding out the Scream Factories, we have Dark Summer. And now I'll show my Scream Factory box sets. The first one up is, of course, the Friday the 13th Deluxe Edition. Absolutely awesome release by Scream Factory. Hopefully this year we get the Nightmare on Elm Street box set. Then I have It's Alive trilogy with all 3 It's Alive movies. The Omen collection. All 5 Omens. Critters collection with four movies. And finally, the Fly collection with all 5 of the Flies. Now I'll go into my Shout Select titles. Don't have too many of them. Spine 105 is The Deer Hunter on 4K. Next up we have Spine 116, that is The Explorers. Then we have Mr. Mom, spine number 28. We have spine number 66, and that is the Legally Blonde collection. One of my childhood favorites, and that is spine number 120. It is Little Big League. Really enjoy this movie. Now we'll go into my 2 Severin titles. I don't really collect Severin, but we have The Changeling with that sweet slipcover. Absolutely great film. And then I highly recommend this one too, and it's called Skinner. Enjoyed that as well. And we'll keep rolling along here. Okay, now let's get into the bulk of my collection, and that is the Vinegar Syndrome. First up, we have the first VSU from them. It's a line from them, and that is Beastmaster. Awesome box. And we have VSU number 2, 6 String Samurai. Now we'll get into the box sets from them. First one I have the Angel Collection. It slides open like that. Then we have Camille Keaton in Italy box set. This includes Madeline, Tragic Ceremony, and Sex of the Witch. Then we have Televised Terror, Volume 1. This includes Are You in the House Alone, Calendar Girl Murders, and Child in the Night. And we have Homegrown Horrors. Very good box set. And this includes Fatal Exam, Beyond Dream's Door, and Winter Beast. Then we have Forgotten Geology Volume 1. This includes Trauma, Police Are Blundering in the Dark, and The Killer is One of 13. We have Volume 2. And this includes Girl in Room 2A, My Dear Killer, and the French Sex Murders. And we have the third volume. And this includes Autopsy, Murder Mansion, and Crazy Desires of a Murder. We do have the fourth volume coming out this month. I should begin that later this month in my subscription package. Then we'll go into my slipcover editions. These are in release order. So the first one we have is the telephone book. Punkfication. Night Train to Terror. Sugar Cookies. Graduation Day. Love this slip. Good movie as well. We have Raw Force. Classic for Vinegar Syndrome. Then we have another Christmas Evil. Very good little slasher. I hated this movie. Don't Go in the Woods Alone. We have Nightmare Weekend. Demonoid. Frightmare. Luther the Geek. Very underrated. Enjoyed that. Pigs. About killer pigs. Decent flick. Then we have Psychic Killer. Evils of the Night. This got a lot of hate, but I actually enjoyed that, surprisingly. We have Count Dracula's Great Love. Sorry for the glare, I got these in protective cases. We have Nightmare Sisters. Murder Weapon. And Deadly Embrace with Linnea Quigley. We have The Undertaker. Jack Frost with the Sweet Lenticular. Don't Answer the Phone. Witch Trap. Psycho Cop Returns. Really enjoyed this. Malibu High. Sweet Sugar. My Chauffeur. Another decent one. And we have another lenticular. Demon Wind. The Corpse Grinders. And the Ice Cream Man. Starring Clint Howard. We have Disconnected. Penitentiary. Lucifer's Woman. Penitentiary 2. Prey. Terror. The infamous Blood Hook. This goes for crazy money on eBay with the slip. Then we have Sweetback's Badass Song. Bloodsuckers from Outer Space. Actually enjoyed this. And We have Pets. Deadly Daphne's Revenge. Grave Robbers. Good little flick. The House of the Dead with the great slipcover. Dear Dead Delilah. Wonder Woman. If you ever wondered where Vinegar Syndrome got their music, intro music to, that's the movie to watch. And we have Body Melt. We have The Dead Come Home. Death by Temptation. Blood Harvest. Incubus. Pretty good movie. Love that slip. Beware My Brethren. Cutting Class. A young Brad Pitt's in this. The Children. Mausoleum. Bloody New Year. Uninvited. There's Nothing Out There. Splatter University. Wacko. Party Line. Battle for the Lost Planet and Mutant War. Dominique. The Suckling. Movie's crazy. We have a really good one. The Corruption of Chris Miller. Dark Room. Really enjoyed this one as well. Grandmother's House. Satan's Slave. Mountaintop Motel Massacre. Try saying that 5 times fast. We have Night Beast. This thing just messes people up left and right. Crazy movie. We have Lust in the Dust. Putney Swope. Taking Tiger Mountain. Play Dead. Hellmaster. Decoder. Pledge Night. The Vineyard. Enjoyed this. Beyond Evil. Secta Siniestra. Unmasked Part 25. Berserker. Beyond the Door 3. Tammy and the T-Rex. Denise Richards and Paul Walker. Rest in peace to Paul Walker. We have Spookies. The Candy Snatchers. Zombie Island Massacre. Flesh Eating Mothers. Absolutely the worst acting I've ever seen. We have Extra 3. Hollywood Horror House, Deadline, Olivia, Malabimba, Dolly Dearest, Pale Blood, Patty Hearst, The Immortalizer, one that I really enjoyed, and that is Rad. This is a 4K. Another one I enjoyed, Blood Games. The Severed Arm. Old Dracula. Best Friends. The 11th Commandment. Perfect Strangers. Enjoyed this. It was very surprising. Not expecting much from that. The Color. Very good movie. Stars Malcolm McDowell. We have Pandemonium. Ladrones de Tumbas, or Grave Robbers. Very good film. Spanish movie. We have Memorial Valley Massacre. Zombie 5, or Killing Birds. The Great Slip cover. We have Whodunit. Deadly Games, Dial Code Santa Claus. Basically French version of Home Alone, but a lot more brutal. Awesome movie. Rest in Pieces. Cemetery del Terror. Very good Spanish movie. Fade to Black. Call this a classic. Very good movie. We have Silent Madness in 3D. Dimensiones Occultas, or Don't Panic. Another good one. We have Satan's Blood. Cthulhu Mansion. Dark Tower. Hitcher in the Dark. The Fear. Death Promise. Great movie. Really enjoyed this one. Last Gasp. Rush Week. All American Murder. Very good movie. The Cellar. Another classic. We have Surf 2. Alright, check out that back. And we have the Cardona Collection, #1. This includes Treasure of the Amazon, Triangle, The Bermuda Mystery, and Cyclone. And it does come out as its own slipcover. We have Alien from LA. We have Scanner Cop and Scanner Cop 2. Includes both of them with slipcovers. Very good movies. I liked them both. Through the Fire. The Lamp, or The Outing. Killer's Delight. Terminal Island. Tough Guys Don't Dance. Oh man, oh god, oh man, oh god. If you've ever seen that, you know what I'm talking about. Girls' School Screamers. We have Auntie Lee's Meat Pies. I actually really enjoyed that movie. Another great one, Shallow Grave. Probably the best one of 2021. Resurrection. Devil's Story. This is batshit crazy. We have Blades. Basically Jaws on a golf course with the killer lawnmower. Then we have a double feature of Nothing Underneath and Too Beautiful to Die. Nothing Underneath is a lot better than Too Beautiful to Die. I thought this movie was funny. It's called The Laughing Dead. And we have the 4K of Ticks. This awesome packaging. Also has its own slipcover. Great movie. Then we have Flesh for Frankenstein. Includes the 3D version. And 2 different slips. We have Creature, an Alien ripoff. Not too bad though. Just a lot more low budget. We have a Dario Argento film, Trauma. Decent, but one of his lesser ones. Then I absolutely love this movie. It is crazy, and it's not for the faint of heart, but it is Ebola Syndrome. Really enjoyed that. And we have Steel and Lace. That'll round it out for my Vinegar Syndrome slipcovers. Now let's go on to their VSA line, which is Vinegar Syndrome Archive. And I'll be right back. And these are in the spine order that these came out. These do slide out from the bottom, and they are like hand numbered, if you can see that. But without further ado, we got Savage Harbor, aka Death Feud, Evil Town, Vice Academy 1 through 3, Savage Dawn, Hell Riders, and all of these releases come with posters as well. Dr. Jekyll's Dungeon of Death, LA Wars, the awesome slip box. We have Spellcaster, Necromancer, Martial Law, and Martial Law 2 Undercover. We have Action USA, House of Usher, Grave Secrets, Alley Cat, Champagne and Bullets, Whatever It Takes. I really enjoyed this one. Really surprised me. The Grave, Tiger Claws trilogy includes Tiger Claws 1, 2, and 3. So only only one from Vinegar Syndrome that I have not got around to watching. And then we have Billy Blanks in TC 2000. And that is all my VSAs. Now I'll go into some partner labels. The first partner label that I have is Gunpowder and Sky, and that is the summer of '84. This is a 4K with the awesome slipcover. Then we'll get into my Fun City editions, a partner label Vinegar Syndrome as well. First one up, we have Alphabet City. And I recommend all of these movies, as Fun City Edition does a great job. I Start Counting, Jeremy, Smile, Walking the Edge, Rancho Deluxe, Primetime Panic. This is a box set from them. And this includes Dreams Don't Die, Freedom, and Death Ride to Osaka. And the last Fun City edition up to date is Radio On. This one's cool. It looks like an old record. It pulls out from the side. Now we'll go into my Vestron video titles. And right now I have all of them. And Candyman 3 comes out next week, which I plan on picking up as well. First one, we have Chopping Mall. I really enjoyed this movie about killer robots. We have Blood Diner, Spine number 2. Waxwork and Waxwork 2, Lost in Time. This is spine number 3. Spine number 4 is Return of the Living Dead 3. Chud 2, Bud the Chud. Really enjoyed this one. This is spine number 5. Spine number 6 is Lair of the White Worm. We have Parents. Spine number 7. Spine number 8, childhood favorite, The Gate. Spine number 9, the Wishmaster collection. Includes Wishmaster 1 through 4. We have spine 10, The Unholy. Spine 11, the Warlock collection. Includes Warlock 1, 2, and 3. Spine 12, Slaughter High. Number 13, Gothic. Class of 1999. Spine number 14. Spine number 15, Beyond Reanimator. Spine 16, Dagon. H.P. Lovecraft adaptation. Then we got Stephen King's Maximum Overdrive. This is number 17. Number 18 is David Cronenberg's Shivers. And we got a classic, spine number 19, Little Monsters, with Howie Mandel and Fred Savage. And we have another classic, The Wraith. Spine number 20. Spine number 21, Sundown, The Vampire in Retreat. Really enjoyed this movie. Very good surprise. Spine number 22 is Dementia 13. Francis Ford Coppola's first film. It was an okay. It's kind of a slow burn. And then we have number 23, and that is Steel Dawn with Patrick Swayze. And now to round out my complete collection is my Synapse films. First we have Intruder, Maniac Cop with Bruce Campbell and Tom Atkins, the original Prom Night with Jamie Lee Curtis, I do believe. Yep. And then we have Street Trash. And we have Dario Argento's Suspiria on 4K. And that will do it for my complete Blu-ray collection. If you guys have made it to the end tier, if you guys want to message me on Instagram, MovieCollector22, I am giving away my Inglourious Basterds digital copy and my Juice copy. If you guys are interested, please send me a message on Instagram, and that is MovieCollector22. There will be a link down in the bottom. And hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. Thanks for checking out my video. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell as I try to post videos. And until next time, stay safe out there, guys. Thank you.